Hi, my name is Guy Bartram. I'm the Director of Product Marketing for our cloud providers at VMware. And today I'm joined by Hans from Uniserver. So welcome, Hans. Why don't we start with a quick introduction, who you are, what you do, and what is Uniserver all about?
Yeah, well, my name is Hans Hendricks, and I'm responsible for business development within the company. And to introduce shortly the company, Uniserver is founded in 2000 and started off by the founders in web hosting
Mm-hmm.
and changed the strategy in 2008 and transferred to mission critical hosting. And that's, of course, we all call that in this time cloud. And at this point of time, we have the largest private infrastructure as a service platform of the Netherlands. We are about 200 employees. And since now 2, 3 years, we also have a massive public cloud division under the label Cloud Nation. And we also invested last year in a data and AI practice called Revo Data to also be innovating in the data and AI space. And what also is good to tell is that we have a 100% indirect distribution model. So we don't deliver our cloud services to end customers, but to ISVs and managed service providers. And we have a special end market focus, seeing what workloads we provide our platform to is in the public, vital, finance, and healthcare sector.
Okay. So Uniserver's been going for quite some time then. Like you say, came from kind of the web hosting world, centralized in the Netherlands, providing Dutch kind of cloud services to your customers, who in this case are actually partners and ISVs.
Yeah.
And we're here today to talk about Uniserver and sovereign cloud specifically. So why don't we just dive into that? I mean, you mentioned some of the key verticals that you deliver services for. What does sovereign cloud mean to kind of finance and public sector? And what are some of the kind of different requirements that you're seeing coming from those sectors, specifically maybe for the Netherlands in terms of sovereign cloud demand and solutions?
Well, we are seeing now in the Netherlands more and more significance to having 100% jurisdictional security about the availability on the customer's data.
Mm-hmm.
And that's growingly more and more important for a lot of organizations. And of course, you would expect that within the public sector or healthcare sector, but even in the private sector, where a lot of IP is, for instance, important data,
Mm-hmm.
this is growing in importance. Besides of that, 100% jurisdictional security, customers also mentioned having maximum control and grip on cost, including insights in those costs and a need for flexibility to scale up or scale down, and also be able to move workloads from the one cloud to another is a very important requirement that we see in the market today.
Yeah, it's interesting how, cloud first has kind of evolved into a little bit of cloud chaos for some customers, and now trying to get to that cloud smart strategy which you deliver, where it's not just about your cloud applications, it's about the data that they're holding and managing and processing, but also critically who has access to that data. So Uniserver is 100% under Dutch jurisdiction, legal jurisdiction and law. Owned and operated and managed by Dutch citizens and certified, Dutch employees for different kind of business industries. So this is a kind of key differentiator, and I think for me that's the way the market is moving, is starting to understand that cloud can offer many, many different things. And it's not necessarily about being all into one cloud. It's about that portability, that choice, that flexibility, and that control. So what does kind of sovereignty then mean to Uniserver? You're a VMware cloud, sovereign cloud partner,
Mhm.
and a cloud verified partner for VMware. So thank you very much for your partnership.
Yeah.
What does this mean for you guys in terms of the services you're offering now for sovereign cloud solutions?
Yeah, in fact, we are sovereign since the beginning of our mission critical platform because we are fulfilling all those requirements that these days we would call sovereign since
Mhm.
the start of the company and the start of the platform in 2008. What also is good to mention, guys, that we look at our organization in the Netherlands. Yes, we are operating from Dutch soil and we operate with Dutch citizens. But from the start, we also invested highly in automation. So the dependency on Dutch or IT personnel in general is relatively low. So we do also have not a need, also even in these times of shortage of IT personnel, we do not have a need to go abroad and take a back office, for instance, to Eastern Europe or even to India.
Mm.
That need do not no, we do not have. So we are heavily automated and can operate our cloud services with a relatively small crew. And we look at what the importance for us sovereign cloud is. That is, we distinguish ourselves enormously with this security we can offer. With that sovereign cloud security we can offer, and we can differentiate a lot in comparison with the hyperscalers and the public cloud vendors that are out there.
Yeah, and you mentioned public cloud before. So the difference being that the Uniserver public cloud is a cloud solution that is private to Uniserver, but public to multi-tenanted to your partners and your customers.
Yeah.
Whereas hyperscale cloud, I kind of class it as a commercial cloud. Really, it's a commercial offering. And security is one of the kind of key differentiators, you said, between your hyperscale commercial offerings and your public cloud and solutions you provide. What services do you offer today? Because obviously you're delivering infrastructure as a service, security services, cost management services to your partners. How do you see your partners taking those solutions to your verticalized customers?
Well, we deliver a lot of cloud services, base services actually, where our ISVs put on top of that their software solution, or managed service providers put on top of that their managed services offering,
Mhm.
and offer that in total to their end customers in those typical verticals we operate. We look at our cloud service portfolio. We have about 20 standardized cloud services, of course, from infrastructure as a services in various tastes. So also a physical dedicated platform we can offer, but also in a shared environment. But also we deliver backup as a service, or storage as a service, disaster recovery as a service, firewalling as a service, desktop as a service. So a lot of different services we offer. In our, it's more like a Lego box that you can
Yeah.
build a nice toy with. So that's what we are offering, and of course we also can bridge to public cloud because we have that public cloud capability, and we also offering landing zone as a services for Azure and AWS, but also a multi-cloud networking as a service based on Aviatrix, because our vision is that most organizations are coming to a mix of clouds in a certain content, and divided between maybe one or two public clouds and one or two more private and sovereign clouds in regard of their most sensitive data.
Yeah, and you raise a great point there, Hans, and that is that customers today are looking for the right application execution venue and the most secure location for their mission critical data versus their public data. And it's not a one cloud fits all scenario. You know, you're going to need bits and pieces from everywhere, but then the dilemma for customers is, how do I manage that? How do I manage the cost? How do I manage the, you know, the services on there, the security, the classification of data and things like that? And that's where obviously Uniserver comes in, provides an as a service platform covering many of those bases, which then your partners can kind of differentiate on directly for those customers. So it's a kind of perfect cloud solution. And I think one of the challenges you know, customers have is not really understanding what cloud providers can bring to the market and bring to them to help them. And as you said, yours is a very highly automated platform, similar to a hyperscaler, but it has the differentiation of, you know, the localization, the jurisdictional legal control over your data, the fact that data is going to be held and operated and processed only within the Netherlands, with, you know, various degrees of security to, you know, private, dedicated, isolated instances, all the way up to you know, shared instance, and indeed into commercial cloud. So I think that's you know, it's a pretty comprehensive offering, and it's really good that you've got this wide partner base to help you diversify the portfolio. One of the things that I hear back sometimes from customers is that, you know, our cloud providers are not as advanced as hyperscale providers in terms of things like app modernization and innovation, which they feel they need for their businesses to maintain competitive edge. What can you say about Uniserver's kind of offerings in that innovation space? You mentioned AI earlier on. Do you want to expand on that and kind of give us an idea of what the cloud portfolio is for modernization that you've delivered today?
Yeah, I can sure tell something about that. And let's be clear, when you look at the public cloud offerings of Azure or AWS or even Google, they have enormous different services, PaaS services that you can use. An enormous variety about that. We focus especially on a platform that is robust and secure, and of course high performance. Where we put our innovation in is especially at this point in three areas. One is the data and AI space, already mentioned. We are developing a data platform as a service in cooperation with HPE and based on the Esmeralda data fabric, to offer also a sovereign data platform to get more value out of the data. One of the second innovation is offering a managed container platform as a service based on Kubernetes, because we see that especially in the software development space, a lot of software vendors are moving to a container platform and offer their software based on Kubernetes. So that's something we offer a platform for. And third is the multi-cloud networking as service. I already mentioned to when you come to that optimal mix of clouds, public or private, you need also to manage that as a whole in terms of networking, in terms of security, in terms of access. And therefore, we also offer a service.
Awesome. So you've got really quite an expansive portfolio there. You've got everything from the kind of the starting of app modernization, bring that into developer-ready environment with Kubernetes clusters as service. You've got the AI and machine learning platform offering coming with HPE. You've got the networking, which everyone kind of doesn't really think how important it is, but it's
Yeah.
critical for distributed application environments and really taking advantage of what cloud can offer. So that's fantastic. So you're covering, the basics, the more advanced stuff, and then wrapping that around with a lovely layer of sovereignty and control and security to your customers. So customers who want to engage with Uniserver, how would they go about finding out more hands and I guess also finding out what your partners do and how they could align to a customer needs? Because having many partners on the platform is great, but where does a customer actually start that journey?
Well, mostly we get in touch with an end customer together with a managed service provider or even an ISV. And what our contribution in that process is that we assess the current state of the IT infrastructure, and if it's in another cloud or if it's still on premise. We assess that. We define the business case to migrate that to the most optimal cloud mix and determine also the migration strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And the migration strategy we execute with a own dedicated onboarding team we have in an organization. And we also fund a lot of the migration cost when you look at the out-of-pocket cost that an end customer have to make to migrate. And what we also do, and that's really unique, Guy, is that in that assessment of the current state, we often see hardware assets that still have a value.
Mm-hmm.
We still see software commits to, for instance, VMware. We see data center contracts that are still going on, or even hardware lease contracts that are still have a certain term. And we can all take that away and take it in and pay the end customer a fee for that to compensate the costs that are not written off yet, or to pay the penalty that is there for ending a data center contract earlier. That's also something we are able to take in and fund that and take that negative part out of the business case.
That's a unique differentiator, Hans. Yeah, that is a real differentiator. So a customer then can kind of take advantage of Uniserver's capability to and experience to assess their environment, but not just their VMs and stuff like that. The totality of the environment that would be migrated, and then look at what are the early penalty clauses and see if they could be mitigated in any way with the server, perhaps assisting there. That's a very unique differentiator for customers looking to come to Uniserver or partners of Uniserver. Just to finish off then, Hans, can you give me an idea of a couple of customer journeys that may kind of give the customers some idea of I fit that profile. What does that profile look like in terms of a journey to Uniserver and to Uniserver's partners?
Well, I mentioned that we are typically in specific verticals.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot give you any names on let's say local governmental agencies or
Sure.
or finance companies. But what I can do is give you some names of managed service providers that we took over their own platform and integrated that in the big Uniserver platform, like PQR or OGD or Datron. They all had their own platform, and they reevaluated that, having their own platform, and decided, well, we have to more focus on our managed services and our consulting services as added value to my end customer. And we do not longer have the scale to really operate a platform efficient. So we're going to source that out. So we took over a lot of those platforms in the channel, if you like, with managed service providers or even also ISVs. And therefore gain a lot of scale to gain a lot of growth in our existing platform, and extend that, of course, to the end customers of those managed service providers.
Yeah, making that a seamless transition for them as well. So they end up on, perhaps more performant, more secure infrastructure from Uniserver, whilst they're still being kind of managed by the service provider.
And there's, of course, also a thing, because you can talk a lot about, do I have the scale to operate it efficiently? Do I have enough scale to innovate? But in addition to that, we see a lot of also addition driver is the shortage of IT personnel to operate a platform. And now, of course, also compliancy demands to that platform. And that's not only traditionally ISO or ISA, but now also NIS2 or AUCS, that really demands a lot of compliancy efforts in having an open platform.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And those compliance requirements are constantly evolving as well, either from an EU level like EUCS or from a local level, local Dutch level. So this is going to get something that's, I think, harder for customers to keep on top of. And we've seen GDPR, we've seen some of the fines that GDPR issued, and there's still many customers struggling with GDPR. Getting ready for that next wave of data innovation is only going to compound that issue and make it worse. So reaching out to a service provider who can help you with that and automate a lot of that for you is definitely going to be a big plus, particularly in public sector where funding is not always as easy as it is to get in the private sector as well.
Yeah, but also I think it's very unique of our portfolio, our proposition, is that we also offer flexibility, because a lot of those typical organizations are not really able to plan a lot ahead. And of course, when you are migrating to SaaS, or even if you have to downsize your organization or upscale your organization, it's very nice if your underlayer, your fundament, your infrastructure, can breathe in and breathe out along with that development, going up or down. And that's the fun part of the consumption model we have and we offer. So you only pay as you go.
Yeah, and that's another kind of key difference between the commercial public cloud vendors and the likes of yourselves, the Uniserver, in that in public cloud, many services are pay as you go, but when you're looking at infrastructure services, there's compelling discounts to go for longer terms, but makes it harder for you to kind of then get rid of those resources when you don't need them anymore, which causes a lot of cost planning and a lot of headaches for organizations. So yeah, that's again, that's a kind of another unique aspect of Uniserver and VMware cloud providers, is to be able to provide that real consumption model on only pay as you go. Hans, thank you very much for the insights into Uniserver. Just so customers can kind of take a next step, how can they reach out to Uniserver? Is a website perhaps they can hit to find out more about your partners and your services?
Yeah, of course, a website, uniserver.nl, but people can also give me a short message, and I'll reach out to them, and I will take care of the first contact and pick up the questions that they have.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time today, Hans. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Guy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.